Swadika, thank you for joining us on Newsline. We are broadcasting live on NBT, Radio Thailand FM 88, and on NBT World. It's Friday, April the 8th, and you're with me, Tra Thirakalsan. And welcome to today's segment of Thailand Moves Forward. In our first story, the National Legislative Assembly, or NLA, has convened to deliberate the additional question that will be attached to the public referendum, while the NLA Vice President has affirmed that the approved question will not be one that could lead to conflicts. NLA Vice President Surachai Liengbunlerchai said the question was a result of suggestions from NLA members that had also collected suggestions from all sectors of society. He said the attached question should be for the purpose of aiding in the country's political transition and not to create conflict, misunderstanding, or tamper with the content of the draft constitution. The NLA voted 171 to 1 with 3 abstentions to pass the public referendum bill into law. The bill allows complaints to be filed on suspicions of fraud with 24 hours after the referendum has taken place. Those attempting to obstruct the voting process can face a jail term of 10 years and a fine of no more than 200,000 baht. The NLA also voted 142 to 16 with 9 abstentions to forward questions to be included in the referendum to the Election Commission and also gave its approval to the additional question discussed earlier. Deputy Prime Minister Wisanu Kriangam said if the people vote against the draft charter in the referendum, the government will consider drafting another one based on past constitutions. Dr. Wisnu said the government cannot currently reveal exactly what steps will be taken if the Thai people refuse to accept the draft charter. He believes the statement could affect the outcome of the referendum. However, the Deputy Prime Minister assured that such contingency measures will be revealed in a timely manner. The 2014 interim constitution would first have to be amended to enable the government to implement its solution. Dr. Wisnu hinted that a new constitution could be created from the 1997, 2007 or draft constitutions. According to the Deputy Premier, this new constitution would be adopted without a public vote. Meanwhile, Constitution Drafting Commission or CDC spokesperson Udom Rat Amarit said the charter drafters are currently reviewing an explanation of key issues in the draft constitution to be submitted to the Election Commission for consideration. The Ministry of Transport is making preparations for the upcoming Songkran festival, during which more than 22 million people are expected to travel. Transport Minister Akom Term Pithiya Phaisit gave details on his ministry's road safety measures, which are to be implemented before, during, and after the Songkran holidays from April 8th until the 18th. This year, the ministry expects as many as 22 million people in Thailand will be leaving on vacation, an increase of 1.2 million from the year before. The minister attributed the rise to low oil prices and the government's tax deductions on traveling expenses. Therefore, the ministry has devised measures to accommodate holidaymakers in 4 areas, namely public transport services, transport networks, facilities within transport terminals, and availability of traffic information. Logistics businesses have also been asked to refrain from using large trucks during the Songkran holidays. The ministry is also poised to stringently enforce traffic laws on motorists in a bid to ensure the safety of the general public. About 20,000 traffic police will be stationed across major roads that are expected to be congested with Songkran revelers. 24-hour surveillance will also be carried out at boat piers, airports, and train stations across the country. The Bangkok Metropolitan Administration, or BMA, is preparing to organize citywide celebrations for the Songkran festival without the consumption of alcohol. Bangkok Deputy Governor Putsadi Tamthai announced the BMA's readiness to hold the annual festivities for Songkran in all 50 districts of the capital. This year, she said the campaign will seek to encourage revelers to help save water and refrain from drinking, nudity, the use of high-pressure water guns, and the use of talcum powder. According to the Deputy Governor, a campaign is also being launched on the popular Khao San Road to invite members of the public and tourists to take part in water play while assuring them of their safety. Officials are also being deployed to restaurants, markets, and train stations to inspect food safety during the festive period. The Ministry of Public Health supports the setting up of checkpoints in community areas in an effort to reduce injuries and fatalities during the Songkran festival next week. Public Health Minister Piyasakul Sakonathon and representatives of relevant units attended a meeting on the ministry's measures for Songkran this year. The minister said the measures were aimed at preventing motorists from speeding, drowsy driving, and driving under the influence. Dr. Piyasakul urged the public to call the hotline 1669 in case of an emergency or download the application EMS 1669. The ministry is also campaigning for motorists to wear their seatbelts and helmets. Dr. Piyasakul said the ministry would support 578 community checkpoints nationwide. The checkpoints will examine and warn motorists who exhibit risk behavior. The minister urged the public to contact authorities if they witness the unlawful sale of alcoholic beverages to minors in restricted areas. Meanwhile, the minister, accompanied by Permanent Secretary for Public Health, Sopon Mekton, paid a visit to the One-Stop Service Center at Samut Sakhon Hospital in the capital district of Samut Sakhon Province in order to follow up on the registration of migrant workers and their dependents. The latest round of registration, which began on April 1st and will continue through to July 29th this year, aims to allow foreign workers to renew their pink card after it expires at the end of March. On this occasion, Dr. Piyasakul instructed all provincial public health offices nationwide to seek cooperation from employers in their areas in bringing their foreign employees and their children to receive health examinations at any state hospital. He said the workers should also be given health insurance before being registered in order for them to have access to public medical services. A U.S. envoy said the Royal Thai government is committed to tackling illegal fishing in Thai waters. The United States Science Envoy for the Oceans, Jane Lubchenco, said last week during a visit to Bangkok that Thailand's government has shown that it wants to take strong action to end illegal, unreported, and unregulated, or IUU fishing. She called on nations around the world to end overfishing and protect marine natural resources. Under Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha, Thailand has developed its implementing comprehensive reforms of its fishing and seafood processing industries. These industries have enjoyed rapid growth over the past 2 decades, but were neglected in terms of regulation and oversight. That lack of oversight led to overfishing, environmental destruction, and other issues related to labor abuse and human trafficking. Under the government's recently adopted Marine Fisheries Management Plan, officials are using a science-based approach to determine the maximum sustainable yield that Thailand's territorial waters can provide based on their natural resources. The Ministry of Social Development and Human Security will expand the Aging Population Fund to ensure the mental and physical health of the elderly. Permanent Secretary for Social Development and Human Security, Maitri Intusut, said during his visit to Bangkok Social Welfare Development Center for Older Persons that Thailand has become an aging society. He revealed that the number of senior citizens in the country will increase by 30% in less than 20 years. The government has instructed the ministry to devise a strategy that will improve the quality of life for senior citizens in their golden years. To end this, the ministry expects to increase the Aging Population Fund from 63 billion baht to 68 billion baht. The elderly will also be given opportunities to supplement their savings with the ministry's support program. Celebrations for the elderly will be observed on April 13th, which marks both National Elderly Day and the first day of the Songkran festival. And that's the end of today's edition of Thailand Moves Forward. Up next, in ASEAN News, we speak with Kun Supasini Kamasunthorn, the Deputy Secretary General of the House of Representatives, about the ASEAN Center's recent open house event. But before we take a look at that, let's take a look at the exchange rates and commodity prices.
Thai. Created from Thai wisdom, used to be served on banana leaf, and the banana tree is used for practicing Muay Thai. Muay Thai was trained in the temples, which can be found on the mountains, in the caves, or on the water, everywhere, just like Pad Thai. There are thousands of other stories to discover. Discover your amazing stories in Amazing Thailand.
ASEAN Socio-Cultural Community. Due to recurring natural disasters in the ASEAN region, the ASEAN Committee on Disaster Management has become the main authority to coordinate emergency help during disasters. Moreover, there is background of cooperation in terms of environmental sustainability and restoration of natural forest land to reduce the impact of disasters. One vision, one identity, one community.
On March 29th, the Secretariat of the House of Representatives held a second open house event for its ASEAN Center. Here to talk to us about the event is Kun Supasini Kamasunthorn, Deputy Secretary General of the House of Representatives. Sawadee ka.
Sawadee ka.
Thank you for joining us today. Let's talk a little bit about the open house. How does this event maintain a sense of continuity from the first open house event, which was held in December of last year?
Well, the intention of holding the open house is to keep the people in the Secretariat of the House of Representatives, as well as those in the National Assembly, to keep abreast of the developments of the ASEAN community as it goes by the day, and then to keep them to be continued to acknowledge about the importance of the ASEAN community, and to introduce them to new developments of the ASEAN Community Center of the Secretariat of the House of Representatives in preparing ourselves well to support the members in executing the duties with regards to the ASEAN community.
Now, also a key objective of the ASEAN Center is to promote the role of legislatures in the ASEAN community. Could you comment on the progress of this for the center, how it has made just right now?
Well, actually, we are pursuing, starting from 2016, what we call the ASEAN legal harmonization. Well, actually, this terminology is being pronounced quite a lot during the last decade within the 10 ASEAN parliaments, that there is a need for all the ASEAN national parliaments to come together and work out on a common guidelines to which they could adapt their national laws in order to facilitate the accomplishment of the ASEAN community. So what the ASEAN Community Center is doing, starting from this year, is to fund research on the ASEAN legal harmonization on three important areas covering the three pillars of the ASEAN community. The first one is on the ASEAN political and security pillar. We will be focusing on what's so-called the maritime related social economic issues. As for the second pillar, we will be focusing on the unskilled laborers, and for the third pillar, we will be focusing on the sustainable development. We would be examining certain ASEAN instruments, ASEAN agreements, and then we will come to terms with what are the key elements that would affect the improvement or the enactment of new laws in the ASEAN countries.
Now, in addition, I understand that the center is there's a collaboration with 6 other organizations on the center. Yeah. Can you tell me a little bit about that, and what kind of collaborations can we expect in the future?
Well, we had signed the memorandum of understanding with 6 partners. One is our sister within the parliament, that is the Senate. While the Senate, the Senate Secretariat is being invited to join with us in terms of the legislative process. Actually, when we have the new constitution and when we have the new parliament coming up, of course, the legislations has to go from the House of Representatives to the Senate. So we should work together from the very beginning on how we should come up with the issues that both houses should be focusing, and how we could very well, facilitate those legislations that concerns ASEAN. The other 2 partners are from the National Research Institutes of Thailand. That is, we will be working with them on the research that would facilitate the decision of the Parliament with regards to ASEAN. The other 2, and we also signed a memorandum of understanding with Chulalongkorn University ASEAN Community Center, and also with the Songkran University ASEAN Community Center, that is to link up with the academic fields, also to support the decision-making of the Parliament with regards to the ASEAN community.
Now, in terms of Thailand's stance, how will promoting the role of the legislature in the ASEAN community help Thais to become leaders in Southeast Asia, you think? Well,
you should know that starting from October this year, Kun Isra Sunthornwat will be taking over the Secretary General of the ASEAN Interparliamentary Assembly for 3 years. That would be one factor that would support the strategy of the Secretariat of the House of Representatives in putting Thailand's role in the ASEAN community. The second thing is that I refer back to what I had said earlier, that we will be pursuing the ASEAN legal integration, the legal harmonization process. I think that this will help Thailand to be at the forefront of the ASEAN other legislatures in terms of finding the common issues to which they would come up with the legislative measures as well as the policy measures in cementing the efforts to consolidate and to enhance the ASEAN community right now and into the future.
And one last question before we do let you go. Do you think the second open house was a success, and why?
Well, I think it has entertained a much larger audience, judging from the last time. We had tried to link the second open house to the actual work that we are doing. We are paying attention more on how the Secretariat should come up with their own legislative plans for the next Parliament to come up with the issues that they should be focusing on the ASEAN community. And we had introduced this idea together with the idea of the ASEAN legal harmonization. So I think that we have been more focused in what we are doing at the second open house, and we are more focused on the issues that we had encouraged our staff members to focus on, especially staff who are working with the legislative process.
Thank you very much, Kun Supasini. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. It's a pleasure.
Thank you. And that was Kun Supasini Thamasunthorn, the Deputy Secretary General of the House of Representatives, talking to us about the second open house for the ASEAN Center. Shifting now to other news, but related to ASEAN as well, the ASEAN Center of Military Medicine, established as part of the government's policy to promote stability and safety in the region, has opened in Bangkok. The ASEAN Center for Military Medicine is located on the 4th floor of the Army's Medical Department headquarters. Deputy Prime Minister and Defense Minister General Prawit Wongsuwan presided over the opening ceremony alongside ASEAN Secretary General Lee Luong Min. Commemorative remarks for the event were given by the ASEAN Secretary General and the Surgeon General of the Russian Ministry of Defense as co-chairs of the Experts Working Group on Military Medicine. General Prawit, who announced the official opening of the center, said of Thailand hopes that the ASEAN Center of Military Medicine will reflect the efforts to create a workable foundation for military medical cooperation and signify the desire to support regional stability and prosperity. The Department of Fisheries, or DOF, plans to hold a forum on ASEAN Fisheries 2016 from August 4th until the 6th at Biotech Exhibition and Convention Hall in Bang Na. In collaboration with the Asian Fisheries Society, AFS, InfoFish, and the network of aquaculture centers in Asian Fisheries Development Center, the department under the Ministry of Agriculture and Cooperatives will hold the ASEAN Fisheries and Aquaculture Conference and Exposition 2016. ASEAN Seafood for the World, as well as the 11th Asian Fisheries and Aquaculture Forum and Exhibition, Asian Food Security for the World. The events will be organized from August 4th until the 6th at Bangkok International Trade and Exhibition Center, or BITEC. In a press conference, DOF Director General Wimon Chantararo-Thai said that the Thai government has launched a policy to support Thai fishermen and their fishery products and promptly tackle any problems, both domestic and overseas, such as manufacturing problems in the fishing industry and its non-tariff barriers. The exhibitions are intended to raise awareness of Thailand's fishing industry and assure its trading partners of the country's fishery standards. The events will also serve as forums to share knowledge and experience in terms of technology, innovation, and seafood processing, promote the advancement of fishing labor, and help Thai businesses put ideas to work and enhance their manufacturing standards to meet international demands. And that's it for today's edition of Newsline. For any comments or suggestions, please feel free to email them to us at newsline.nbt@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Facebook. Just simply type in NNT or check out our website at thainews.prd.go.th/en. We're going to say goodbye now with footage from a hedgehog cafe that recently opened in Tokyo. I'm Tra Thirakkausan. Have a wonderful weekend. Swadee ka.